What a long day of college football. Man, doesn't get any better than this though. Because college football, I know the NFL starts tomorrow. Everybody's excited about it. But there's nothing better than Saturdays at college football. And how you can prove that. The Texas A&M Clemson game. Not only were Texas A&M fans showing up and showing out at the game, they do that midnight yell. So if you've never seen the midnight yell, Google midnight yell, and it is by far one of the greatest things that you will ever see. And if your fan base does not do stuff like that, then it will inspire you, guaranteed, because it is absolutely awesome. So the biggest takeaways from college football today. We got the top 10 and we got the Pac-12 recap for today. First of all, Clemson's Texas A&M game, it was absolutely thrilling, and the refs almost screwed the pooch with the game with that touchback rule. I mean, it is by far the touchback rule when you fumble out of the back of the end zone. You've done all this great work. Driven the ball all the way down the field, and then if you fumble outside of the end zone through the back of the end zone, you lose the ball and the other team gets it back on the 20. There is no more punitive damage rule in all of college football. I mean, think about that. Like, there is no rule where you are penalized that heavily. I think that college football needs to take a look at that rule, because it is like, you've done all these great things. It's not just like a standard turnover. Maybe you go back 30 yards. Maybe you go back 40 yards. Something. But just the idea of like giving the other team the football back when they didn't necessarily do anything to make it happen. Yeah, no, I'm not in on that. Not in on that at all. The other thing is, besides the rule, Florida State. Okay, everybody has these new turnover things. Miami has a turnover chain. Tennessee came out with that dumbass trash can, the turnover trash can. Other people have other things. But Florida State has a turnover backpack. Are you kidding me? I posted the picture on my Twitter, @GeorgeReister. A turnover backpack. So they put on like a fancy $10,000 backpack after they get a turnover. I mean, I know a lot of people think I'm hating on Willie Taggart because they almost lost to Sanford again today. But let's be real. A turnover backpack? That is the weakest. That is the absolute weakest move there is. Also, I wanted to break you guys in on the top 10. And then we are going to get into the Pac-12 results, because I know you guys are just finished watching Pac-12 After Dark. So here's what we got. We got Alabama at 1. We got Ohio State at 2. Clemson at 3. Oklahoma at 4. Stanford at 5. Georgia at 6. West Virginia at 7. Notre Dame at 8. Auburn at 9. And Virginia Tech at 10. Where's Wisconsin? Okay, legit question. But I will tell you the two most frustrating parts about being a college football fan. Number one, the biased polls. And number two, the terrible non-conference schedules. Those are the two things I hate. So that's why I do the Unafraid Show Top 10. Because at least we are the only poll that is going to rank on the correct criteria. Quality wins, the schedule that you've played, and then the eye test. Because most polls, including the college football playoff committees, top 4, top 25, when they do those, they give college football blue bloods a massive benefit of the doubt. And I don't believe in that. Like, the best teams who play the best schedules will always be atop the Unafraid Show top 10. So I gave you guys the top 10. There will be an article up about 10 minutes after I get off about it. About the top 10 where you can see them for your own eyes. Is the turnover backpack real life? Yes, man. The turnover backpack at Florida State is real life. Man, good. listen, just Google it. You can go on Twitter, type in Facebook. Turnover backpack, and you will get your laughs. Hashtag Florida State Twitter. It never disappoints. They're already ready to fire Willie Taggart. You guys know I'm always critical of the schedules. Always critical of the college football schedules. However, I have to give them a little bit of credit. And I am going to get to the Michigan State, Arizona State game that just ended when I get to the Pac-12 stuff. I'm always critical of the schedules because there is no reason why you have this week the teams that are in the Unafraid Show top 10. You have Alabama playing Arkansas State. You have West Virginia playing nobody. You got Notre Dame playing nobody. You got Auburn playing nobody. And you got Virginia Tech playing nobody. And if you like Wisconsin, you got Wisconsin playing nobody. I mean, what kind of... it's unacceptable. This is non-conference play. Like, this is not conference play itself. So, anyways, I digress because I could go on and on about this all day long. So, I've given you the top 10. Giving you the biggest things from today. Now we're going to move on to the Pac-10 real quick. I'm sorry, the Pac-12. I still get nostalgic and go back to my days as the Pac-10 player. So what we got out of the Pac-12 today. Interesting results because we knew that UCLA was going to lose to Oklahoma. I have to give Oklahoma a lot of credit, though. Oklahoma's a damn good team. Like, everybody thought that Baker Mayfield was going to leave, and then all of a sudden they were going to just fall apart because Kyler Murray was going to be the quarterback. No, that young man is slinging and winging it. It's exciting to watch. And then, listen, I didn't like the disrespect that people were trying to show Chip Kelly because I tweeted out before the game. I was like, this is my lock. This is my lock of the week. Chip Kelly getting 29.5 points. Even with a true freshman quarterback, a horrendous offensive line, players suspended, and not the type of talent that he wants to run his offense, still absolutely no way, no how will Chip Kelly get beat by 30 points. People, oh, well, they scored some cheap touchdowns. Well, the lines always account for that sort of thing. But I will say that UCLA got a lot better. They did get a lot better, especially at quarterback. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, he grew. And hell didn't have to freeze over because Chip Kelly didn't get beat by 30. The game that just ended, which was the Arizona State-Michigan State game, that was a game that was crucial for the Pac-12. Absolutely crucial for the Pac-12. It cannot be understated how big that game was because Michigan State is a top 15 team, according to the other polls. And they would not have been in the Unafraid after they damn near got beat last week by Utah State. So you have to realize that in the eyes of the committee, in the eyes of the voters, that Arizona State and the Pac-12 was going to be judged by this game. Particularly after Washington had trouble closing out the game against Auburn, a game they should have absolutely won last week. And Arizona State came out, hard-fought game, and they won. That's going to go a long way when Michigan State goes on to go beat Michigan or they go on to beat Ohio State. If they can do that sort of thing, it'll do a lot for Arizona State's resume and for the image of the Pac-12. You can't do anything to affect the image of the SEC because they won't play anybody. But that's a whole different story. Earlier in the season, when I did my Pac-12 preview on the unafraidshow.com, I said I thought that Arizona would win the Pac-12 South. And when I said Arizona, I kind of stutter sometimes. So I was saying Arizona State, but, I didn't quite get it out all the way. Nah, man, I'm joking. Arizona has proven to be absolutely god awful right now. I have no clue what I'm looking at. I know that Kevin Sumlin's a new coach. I know that he runs a whole different system. However, Khalil Tate is a running back who can throw the ball. Like, let's not act like he is some magical passing quarterback. He's not. Not at this point in time. So the fact that he's only run the ball like 14 times in 2 games, yeah, that's absolutely not going to work. That's not going to work at all if Arizona is going to win any football games. Like, that's terrible. Like, that's absolutely awful. I would agree with you guys, though, that I do wish the first polls came out week 4 or week 5. It would make more sense because it would give you a chance to objectively see teams instead of just assuming that certain teams are better than others, and then it affects the rest of the polls because you beat top 25 teams, but maybe they shouldn't have been in the top 25 to begin with. So Arizona, though, this team, they just lost to Houston. Houston, who lost last week. I mean, come on, man. Like, what do you want? Like, I mean, like, what is going on? I don't even recognize this team. I don't recognize what Kevin Sumlin's doing. And at this point in time, Arizona looks to be a team that will be lucky to win 2 games this year. Lucky to win 2 games this year. I don't know where they're going to find them at because they clearly can't beat anybody in the Pac-12 right now. And some of the teams that they're going to have to play were in action today. USC and Stanford. USC and Stanford. The game finished 17-3 Stanford. I knew Stanford was going to win the game. USC they still don't have their quarterback situation figured out with JT Daniels. They thought he was Sam Darnold, but he's not. This is literally what people said. They were like, oh, he's Sam Darnold. Slow down, buddy. Slow down. Those are huge shoes to fill. And the fact that USC, they did a pretty decent job on defense, so you have to commend them there. But their offense looks god-awful right now. And you got the Clay Helton Boo Birds out right now. People are calling for Clay Helton's head. They're wondering if he's the guy. And that's not going to stop until he's got to beat Stanford. He's got to beat Notre Dame this year. I mean, like, these are crucial wins. And he's got to beat UCLA, too, which probably won't be too difficult this year. But it's at the end of the season. UCLA could be much improved. But Stanford, on the other hand, like, I feel really good about my Pac-12 pick right now. Everybody thought it was going to be Washington winning the Pac-12. I said it would either be Stanford or it would be Oregon who would win the Pac-12 North, and then the winner would go on to win the Pac-12 all in general. I feel good about that right now. I'm excited. Oregon hadn't played any damn body, but they look solid so far, but against inferior competition. I do have a concern about Stanford because as much as Bryce Love is a good running back, and as much as Stanford is known for slobber knocking people and running the football, I believe that Stanford's making a strategic mistake so far in the beginning of the season, keeping games closer than they should be by not letting KJ Costello throw the ball more. This dude, Andrew Luck type of quality quarterback. I'm telling you, I know when I see quality quarterbacks. I knew it the first time I saw Justin Herbert. I was like, there's something there. I know KJ Costello, this kid looks good. And anybody who has to play Stanford, like if Stanford were playing with the type of athletes that USC have outside, that Oregon has outside, Washington has outside, they would be almost unbeatable. In the Pac-12 at least. And their defense has stepped up. I mean, I don't know whether USC's is that bad running the football because Stanford had trouble against San Diego State, particularly in the first half, stopping the run. So unless they went in there, they picked up their abacuses and did the annexation of Puerto Rico in the last week at Stanford to figure out how to stop the run, I don't know what to tell you. Because USC, I would be scared right now if I were a USC fan. Because this did not look good. This did not look good at all. Their running game couldn't get going. Quarterback looked a little iffy. Offensive line was kind of porous at times. This ain't what you want, Clay Helton. This is not what you want. They will Lane Kiffin your ass if you don't get this thing going. The most impressive team, there were two teams that were extremely impressive today from the Pac-12. That would be Colorado, and that would be Arizona State. The most impressive offense was obviously Colorado's because they put up more points. They didn't play, and Nebraska, I said that they have a quarterback, Martinez. I think his name is Adrian Martinez, true freshman. And he ran all over the place. Like, this kid is like Tua Tagovailoa in, well, no. I mean, he's dynamic. I'll just say it like this. He's dynamic running the football. The kid from Nebraska. Colorado, they did a really good job in the game today because for 3.5 quarters, for 3 quarters and 8 minutes, nobody wanted to win the game. Nobody wanted to win the game. And Colorado finally pulled it out. Steven Montez, their quarterback. He's much improved. And yes, Colorado's 2-0. Yes, it feels good, but at the end of the day, like, let's slow down about them being a threat in the Pac-12. Colorado's not a threat. It's cute they won some games, but the running backs are average, not memorable at all, not dynamic. But if you don't bring your best stuff, especially their wideout number 2, Shog or whatever his name is, he's good. That kid can play. I like him. I sent out a tweet earlier where I said, is it me or does Colorado's skill position players not look that dynamic? And I stand by that comment except for him because that dude makes plays. I like him. I mean, they line him up everywhere over the field. And if you are an opposing coordinator, you have to know where he is because he is a potential game wrecker. He's a guy who can catch 3 touchdowns in a game, jump over somebody at the same time, and then all of a sudden you're in a dogfight. Like, that's where Colorado is. If you don't turn the ball over and you play, if you are Stanford, Washington, Oregon, like USC, as long as you don't turn the ball over, you should be able to beat Colorado. But that was a good game overall. Another quality win for the Pac-12 over the Big Ten. Good job, Colorado. We got Utah. Oh, sorry. The next most impressive team was Arizona State. Arizona State, the game was a snoozer. My wife went into bed. She was like, "Listen, I can't take it no more. This game's boring." Like, this is, at this point in time, it was like 6-3. I mean, like, it just was not popping at that point in time. But you know what, though? You know what? It did get very interesting toward the end, and Arizona State made enough plays to win. N'Keal Harry is good. Manny Wilkins, his deep balls are super suspect, but he found a way to make plays today when he needed to make them. And Herm Edwards, everybody laughed at this Herm Edwards hire. We all did. I will agree. It caught me off guard as well. Man hadn't coached in forever, but he's playing. But he has his team winning games. They are 2-0 right now with one solid quality win. You have to respect Arizona State at this point in time because they didn't score a whole lot of points today because Michigan State's defense is good. But if you leave N'Keal Harry all by himself, and Manny Wilkins makes some catchable passes, Big time playmaker, dude. Big time playmaker. Impressed with Arizona State. Good quality win. Another team I was impressed with from the Pac-12 today was was Cal's win over BYU. 2 years ago under Sonny Dykes, Cal was the worst defense in the entire of all of college football for about 2 years straight. Now, Justin Wilcox has them very serviceable. They're getting turnovers. They're scoring on defense, putting their offense in good positions. And I think they finally found their quarterback today in Chase Gabbers. And then they got McElwain as a little runner, like he closed out the game against BYU. So let's do this math. BYU beat up on Arizona, and then Cal dominated BYU. So by that case, Cal's better than Arizona, which will show in the Pac-12 rankings, because I am very unsure whether I'm going to put Arizona last or whether I'm going to put Oregon State last. Right now, it's probably going to be Arizona. I mean, they just looked awful. I mean, they looked awful against they weren't playing Ohio State like Oregon State did. And Oregon State did some really good things without their starting quarterback against Ohio State. So if it were a pick'em game with Arizona and Oregon State right now, I would absolutely choose Oregon State. Absolutely. No, I wouldn't even think twice about it. Now we're going to get to Oregon real quick. So how much drop-off is there from Cam McCormick, the tight end, to Breeland? And he didn't see any catches for Breeland today. Yeah, I don't think that Breeland got a whole lot of playing time today. But the Oregon's thin at tight end right now. I mean, it's not like it had been for years and years where that had been a position of strength on the team. So I think that, you're going to have, some ups and downs at that position right now. The first thing I would like to say about the Ducks is, can somebody send a memo to the wide receivers to catch the damn ball? I mean, Justin Herbert's out there dropping dimes. Last week they had 5 drops. This week they might have had another 4 or 5 drops. They better get that mess out of their system before Pac-12 play starts in 2 weeks against Stanford. You have to make the plays that you are supposed to make. And Herbert was great again. I'm not going to pump him up right now because they're playing against Portland State, and everybody knows how critical I am of these schedules. And so I cannot in good conscience give Oregon so much credit because they've played nobody. I mean, absolutely nobody so far. Which running back will be the featured back, though? That's a legit question. Will it be Verdell? Will it be Dye? Will it be Tony Brooks James? Will it be Felix? I mean, everybody's touching the ball right now. They had 6 guys touch the ball last week. And so we will see what happens as the year goes on. Also, I'm pleased with the way the Oregon secondary is playing now. Like the defense, I always talked about how the last 2 seasons, well, not last year so much, but the season before and the year before that, Helfrich's last 2 years, that they were pillow fighting. I was watching games and they were just tackling people as opposed to hitting people. Like, football's a violent sport. You can't just go tackle people and think that that's going to work. That means they're falling forward 3-4 extra yards. And that's unacceptable. Like, when you're on defense, you got to be mean, man. You actually have to be mean. And they were a bunch of nice guys trying to play football. Nice guys finish last in football. Assholes finish first in football. That's the truth. Like, you have to have a little jerk in you if you want to be successful playing football. I mean, think about Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers seems like a nice guy. Tom Brady seems like a nice guy. They're kind of jerks. I mean, Haloti Ngata, one of the NFL Men of the Year. He's mean on the football field. Nice outside, a dog inside. Pit bull. Pit bull with no owner. The last 2 teams I want to talk about in the Pac-12 Washington State, still so happy for them. On game day this morning, they had a segment on Helinski and mental health, and like, you can't help but root for them. You want them to have a successful season, and they're growing. They're 2-0 right now. Good job, Washington State. The question is, okay, here's the truth, is that their coach, Mike Leach, is such an offensive genius that if he can get this quarterback this year to play well, they can sneak up and bite somebody in Pullman, like one of the big dogs in Pullman. They have an opportunity. I'm not even going to talk about Washington today because they were playing North Dakota. So, I literally did not even check in on the game. I didn't look at the score. I don't know how much they won by. I'm just assuming they won because they weren't trending on Twitter. Yeah. If they had been trending on Twitter, then I would have known that it would have been close or something, like a near upset. Nope, like Sanford and Florida State, which is a joke. A team I'm concerned about in the Pac-12 is the last team is Utah. Utah was held scoreless in the first half today versus Northern Illinois. And that is very concerning because there are always times where Utah looks to be a contender in the Pac-12. But the reality is they're not a contender if they cannot score points. They only put up 17 points today against Northern Illinois. And I guarantee you there is no team in the Pac-12, maybe Arizona, right now that Northern Illinois would beat. So guess what? It's not going to work. Somebody asked about, so that's it for the Pac-12. Somebody just asked about Kentucky beating Florida. If you looked at my picks from this morning, on the preview, I called Kentucky over Florida. Florida has no quarterback. Dan Mullins is a good coach. He's coming over from Mississippi State down to Florida. But the truth about the matter going on in Florida is Florida has the wrong kids right now. They're not tough enough. They don't have the right mentality, and they don't have a quarterback. So until that is changed, Florida is going to be a cellar dweller in the SEC. They're going to get no respect. But Dan Mullins has to find himself a quarterback. He needs to find himself a Nick Fitzgerald, Dak Prescott, somebody, and to get them to win. But it's weird. Like, he doesn't seem like that kind of guy that's going to motivate the guys to do extraordinary things. I got to put on a block real quick. Have a little troller. Boop. Out of here, buddy. Okay, so that's what's going on there. And I will tell you, like, overall, this was a good, solid weekend for college football, even though it wasn't as eventful as I would have liked it to be. Like, I could have dealt with some better games, but it was a little exciting because I was playing against the spread in some of them in my college football pool. And it matters to me whether I'm right or not. It matters to me if it does not matter to you, because nobody likes to be on cold takes exposed. And when you put yourself out there, you may be. Oh my God. I almost forgot about the other big game today, which was Georgia and South Carolina. So there were a lot of people, including me, thought that South Carolina would be able to keep the game close, that they would, but they did not. Georgia was absolutely dominant, which actually makes me more angry. It makes me more angry because I look at their schedule. Their non-conference schedule this year includes Austin Peay, Middle Tennessee State, UMass, and Georgia Tech. What? Aren't you supposed to be the number 2 team in the country? Like, this is horrendous. And these schedules are made in advance. So my question is, What did you think about yourself when you made this schedule? Did you think that this was going to be a year? I mean, 4 years ago when this was made, like, were you thinking that you weren't good enough? I mean, Mark Richt was the coach at that point in time, who's coaching down in Miami. You were winning in between minimum like 9 games a year. So why would this schedule look like this, Georgia? And then I got everybody on my timeline, all these Georgia fans telling me, "Oh, well, our future schedule, we play X, Y, Z, and over in 2020 and 2019 and 2022." We are in 2018. This is this season. I don't want to hear nothing about next year, the year after that. I'm looking at the schedule now, and it sucks. I mean, really consider this. They have South Carolina, who may not be that good. They have LSU and Auburn left on the schedule. That's what they got. There's 10 games left on the schedule, but all they got is Auburn and LSU. And LSU is not looking all that impressive at the quarterback position. So, I mean, what am I supposed to make of this? Like, this team is going to easily walk into the college football playoff because the SEC teams get advantage. So they're probably going to go undefeated, play against Alabama in the SEC championship. Alabama will beat them because they're unstoppable right at this point in time right now. And then somebody will try to say, "Oh, Georgia needs to be in again." Well, if Georgia had played somebody, Georgia could get in. But one loss on their resume, Georgia cannot get in, even if it's against Alabama. Like, under no circumstance. I mean, like, you will see articles, you will see tweets, you will see everything if something like that happens, because that's absolutely asinine. You guys, per the usual, thank you guys for joining me. Unafraid Show. Reister or Wrong, it's your boy George Reister. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Always download the podcast. This will be up in the morning. Share it with a friend. Tell them about the Unafraid Show. And always visit unafraidshow.com. Peace out. Catch you guys tomorrow. Oh, no. I will not catch you tomorrow. Catch you on Monday.